What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Grail Watch. I'm Wei and this is Jeremiah Chan.
Hey.
How are you guys? So we have the inordinate pleasure of presenting a watch that I'm so proud and overjoyed to call our next collaboration. It's with one of my horological heroes, Denis Flageolet, who I consider to be one of the greatest living watchmakers today. It's with Bethune, his brand, and it is a DB25 40mm Content Perpetual in grade 5 titanium, which is his signature material, and with this stunning blue-gray dial. And it is, it's so nice that I want to keep it for myself.
I think you're getting one, no?
I have allocation for one, but I have to save up some money for it because it's not an inexpensive watch, but it's worth every single penny. So as you guys know, last year, Bethune launched their DB25 QP or Content Perpetual in a 40mm case, right? The previous version of that was 44mm, and at 40mm, I think universally everyone just was like, wow, the proportion and size on the wrist is just magical.
Yeah, I mean, even with these like slim lugs, I think it's perfect at this size.
Yeah, you know, this watch is to me just an absolute masterpiece. I think it's also a really beautiful response to the fact that people are now looking for watches in much more classic sizes as well, right? And I think 40mm for a Content Perpetual is amazing. So what people may not know about that story is in fact the idea for the 40mm QP DB25. It came about during a Clubhouse conversation in 2020 where we talked about Bethune becoming the next big thing.
Right.
And on that call were a couple of my friends, one of which is Ahmed Ashari Rahman, who I consider to be one of the greatest watch collectors in the world.
And this is his watch?
And I think he was the one during that call that said, you know, what would be really cool would be a 40mm DB25 Content Perpetual, right?
Okay.
And that's because he already has a DB25. He has a Starry Sky, but in a 40mm case size, and he just loves the proportion and size of that watch. So immediately after that call, I rang up Pierre Jacques and I was like, buddy, we have to make this happen. It's so cool, right? The idea is amazing. And you know, in most instances, when you ask a brand to completely redesign a movement to fit it in a completely different size case, 44mm versus 40mm is, you're a watchmaker, you know, a world of difference.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna, how are you gonna fit the movement in? You know, that's
you can't. You can't take the previous movement and just stick it in a smaller case. Also, in terms of where the indications fall, it wouldn't make any sense as well, right?
Yeah, all the dimensions are different now.
Correct. So Pierre Jacques went to go speak to the genius that is Denis Flageolet, and he came back and he said, you know what, we can do it, but you have to let us also make a version of this watch because we need to amortize the cost of developing this movement.
Right.
So they presented their own version of the 40mm Content Perpetual in Geneva Watch Days last year, and everyone looked at the watch and I think they was blown away by it. I think the resulting sort of over demand they had for that watch was massive, and I think their biggest challenge was who to allocate that watch to. Now that was in a very sort of beautiful two-tone dial.
Oh yes, it went blue, right? Yeah.
Exactly, but sort of waiting in the wings was our version of that watch, and I'm very proud now to be able to show that to you. What I love about the watch not only is the way it fits on the wrist, and you know, one of the concerns, of course, was would it be too thick? But actually, if you look at it, it's the proportions are amazing, and this watch is a repository of everything that is the signature inventions of Denis Flageolet, right? His very first watch with a 3-dimensional moonphase indicator was the DB15, which was launched many years ago. And this watch is kind of the natural successor to that watch with that Content Perpetual, with the indications essentially where they were even in the DB15.
I know you went to the manufacturer and you've seen how they blew the moonphase by hand.
Yeah,
that's incredible. It's
wonderful to see that they're actually doing it with, and the thing is, as they apply a flame to this ball, which is made partially of steel and partially of palladium, right? It's a steel part that turns blue, and if you put it on there for just like a fraction of a second too long, it completely changes the color to another color. Do it again. Right, and so you've got to do it again. Then if you look at the back of the watch, of course, you've got so many of his signature inventions, including an in-house balance wheel, which is made of blue titanium and white gold weights. Yeah. Then you've got the triple parachute. So you've got a full traversing balance bridge, but on either side of the balance bridge, you have an anti-shock. So on each pillar, which is being retained by this sort of beautiful springs here, they're polished to perfection. And of course, you've got the anti-shock in the center of the watch as well. So you've got 3 anti-shocks where most watches will only have 1. Then you've got this beautiful rotor as well that's riding on jewels as well, which I've always loved. I think it's just a cool addition to have on a watch. And basically look at that. I mean, the case is also grade 5 titanium when no one was finishing grade. And even still today, very, very few people finishing it to this sort of mirror polish like perfection.
It takes a lot of effort. And I mean, it looks like a dress watch, but you mentioned about the triple parachute system, right? You could wear this in a more active lifestyle as well. I think Pierre-Jacques says he wants to wear his watches skiing, right?
He does, you know, and that's the wonderful thing about a Bethune watch. This is a watch you can wear with absolutely no compromise. It's a watch that's created by a guy who's addressing the most fundamental areas of watchmaking, which are chronometry, which is represented by his creation of his own terminal curve for his hairspring, by his, I think, 9 balance wheels at this point, by the triple parachute. And what else can I say? It is just a breathtaking work of genius. De Bethune, we just want to thank you so much for allowing us to collaborate with you on this watch. Denis Flageolet, you're amazing and I love you. But stay tuned because we may conceivably be doing more collaborations with this wonderful brand in the future. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Bye, guys.